I'm currently the founder of Runway. And, we're inside the igloo of the Runway, and Runway is basically the most amazing place to build a startup in San Francisco.
I agree. So, Tim Draper told me that all entrepreneurs are social because they all make the world a better place. Do you agree with that, or do you not agree with that? And where do you draw the line between social and non-social?
I generally agree with that. Actually, so Tim is a person that I know. He has helped me a lot, and I believe that for the most part, most entrepreneurs are social. They're creating value and making the world a better place. And there are many different types of entrepreneurs. There are some that are more, now that we have this new definition of a social entrepreneur, that are really have a mission of producing a lot of value with perhaps maybe profit being a secondary objective. But I think that idea is becoming more and more prevalent, right? That any good business is a social business, is a conscious business, is a business that is trying to make the world a better place, not just for its customers, but for its employees, for its partners, for its community.
But if you were to try to define what social means, so what is really a social enterprise? What are the qualities that it should have to be a social enterprise?
Our social company is one that is primarily focused on doing good first, right? And not too worried about short-term profits.
Right.
So that means that that definition means that it is applicable to all sorts of companies and at all stages. So a startup that's at Runway that might be a mobile startup could be a social enterprise, but so can a Fortune 500 company with billions and billions in revenue and thousands of employees can be a social enterprise if they take a long view and decide that they want to produce a lot of good for the community, for the environment, for the world, for its employees, for its customers, for its partners, for its suppliers, and then profit is an incidental thing to that afterwards, right? That profit allows them to sustain that mission. Profit gives them the permission to keep going down that path of creating all that good for all these different stakeholders.
What does changing the world mean for you?
So I'd like to think of it as art, right? So a lot of people ask you what's art? How do you define art? And when I took art history class, that was the first question. It's a very difficult question to answer, and my first answer was, well, art is something that I can't do, which is actually a pretty good answer, but I've come to a better definition, and one of my mentors, Seth Godin, helped me with this definition, and it's his definition. And basically, art is something that changes the world, helps you to see the world in a different way, challenges your assumptions. So I think that any company that is changing the world is doing the same thing, is creating art in a way. Even if your art is delivered in a technology or delivered through a website or delivered through an app on your mobile phone, is that it challenges your assumptions, it changes your behavior, makes you do things that you didn't do just a month ago or a year ago or 5 years ago. So I think that's a good working definition.
Mm-hmm. And so I hear a lot of this, we are changing the world. What are the companies that you think are really changing the world and having a social impact?
Sure. We are in the same building as Twitter in downtown San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And we follow Twitter here because we feel like Twitter's one of these companies. They've given the ability for anyone to have a large audience and to be able to have an impact with very little effort, right? If you can say something very interesting in 140 characters or less, you could potentially have thousands of people exposed to your message, or even millions of people exposed to your message. So I think Twitter is one of these companies changing the world. There are a lot for it, but that's one of the good examples.
Yeah, that's a great example. If there's one thing you could change in the world, what would it be? And this is my final question.
One thing I could change in the world. I think that I would like to see more people, younger people, older people, investors. I want people to take more risk. I want people to step out of their comfort zone. I want people to really stick their necks out. I want people to really put their name, put their reputation on the line and say, I want to create something new. I want to stand for something. I want to change the world. I want people to see things differently. And that requires incredible courage. It requires incredible bravery. It requires ignoring your largest fears, your biggest fears, ignoring criticism from other people who are naysayers. And I think that is spreading. I think that you're seeing that in lots of different places. It's very common in Silicon Valley here in San Francisco, but as I travel and as I interact with people from a lot of different countries, I see that they're taking more risks. They're moving faster, and I think the more that happens, then the more we'll see dramatic improvements in the world.
Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.